Welcome to Accreditation Made Easy, the podcast that takes the stress out of accreditation. I'm your host, Areaka Jewell, and in each episode, we'll deliver actionable tips, expert insights, and practical strategies to help streamline the process, and of course, make your work life a little easier. Now, whether you're tackling policies, preparing for assessments, or just looking for ways to stay ahead, we've got you covered. Let's simplify accreditation, one step at a time. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Accreditation Made Easy. I am your host, Areaka Jewell. I want to give a quick shout out to my longtime listeners who have been with me since the beginning. I'm so grateful. Or if this is your first time tuning in, I want to give you a warm welcome. Today we're talking about the role of the accreditation manager and how to build sustainable systems for ongoing success. And before we're done here, I'm going to give you 5 proven tools that accreditation managers use to stay on track. Sound good? Now, if you've ever watched an orchestra perform, you've likely seen a conductor standing center stage, bringing harmony to a room full of individual musicians, right? It's amazing to watch. Well, the accreditation manager is no different. You're the one coordinating timelines, assignments, and deadlines. You're guiding your agency through the rhythms of ongoing compliance. Now, while the specific tasks may vary, at the heart of an accreditation manager's role are 3 key things. First, you need to identify what needs to be done. You need to be able to read the standard and identify what it's asking you to demonstrate compliance. Is it a written directive? Is it a proof of compliance? Is it a person to interview or a facility to observe? So what needs to be done is number 1. Number 2, knowing when it needs to be completed. A lot of standards have a time-sensitive component to it, whether it's done annually, quarterly, or even not the ones that are very specific to a time frame, but think things like prior to, by the end of, by a certain date. So again, number 2 is knowing when it needs to be completed. And last, number 3, determine who is responsible for doing it. While you may be the accreditation manager and you manage all this, you are not the person responsible for everything in the agency, right? You're not doing patrol or investigations or internal affairs, but what you are doing is managing those proofs from those different agencies. So identifying who is responsible for doing it. Now, I said you don't do it all, but you may do some things. Maybe you're responsible for a certain inventory or audit. When you are the person responsible, you have the utmost control over that proof of compliance when it's you. Okay, so when you are number 3, that's a good thing. But here's the real question. Is the method that you're using to keep track of all these things, the who, the what, and the when, is it sustainable year after year, assessment after assessment? Maybe you already have something built. It's a rock solid system. Great. Or maybe you're still juggling reminders in your head. You're doing email drafts, or maybe you're still doing sticky notes. There's nothing wrong with sticky notes. I know lots of people that have them pasted all over their monitor. But either way, let's talk strategy. So ask yourself, are the systems that you're using, do they work for you? Let's first talk about some real-world tools, and then we'll get into some questions to ask if maybe you have some shortcomings in the systems that you're using, so we'll get into those. But for now, let's talk about some real tools. 5 proven tools that accreditation managers use to stay on track. These are not your one-time fixes, but they are solutions that can help grow your agency and actually make your life easier, right? We all want that. Number 1, the tool is Outlook Calendar, or maybe you have Google Calendar, but tool number 1 is a calendar to track everything. It would mean scheduling events for written directives to be completed or reviewed, proofs of compliance to be submitted. So you create the event, you set them reoccurring, you set a deadline with a buffer, and then assign team members as the attendees. So the responsibility is clear. Maybe you get fancy with some color coding or categories. It is a great visual way to see what's upcoming, overdue. Think scheduling annual training, that sort of thing, or quarterly audits. Great tool to use is a calendar. Tool number 2 is email. Email is a powerful tool for communicating what needs to be, sending emails that are very clear in what is being requested. It has a deadline. Maybe you attach an example of what is needed and you send it, again, with a buffer before it's due, and then set up reminder emails. You can even schedule delayed delivery, so you can do this all in advance. They are great for nudging somebody on a reoccurring task without manually remembering each time and drafting these things. Tool number 3, Excel. I love Excel. Excel is a powerful tool for tracking. You can list the standard number, what is required, who is responsible, due dates, the due dates for each year of your cycle, and maybe a status and some notes. And if you get really fancy and you know some formulas that you can automatically turn cells a certain color when a date passes, or even more advanced, and you link into Outlook to send reminder alerts. So great tool is Excel. That's number 3. Number 4 is one of my personal favorites, and it's PowerDMS assessment task. And I'll tell you why this is my favorite. I am a big proponent of staying in the same system, having everything centrally located. And when you use PowerDMS tasks, you're working inside your assessment, you're reading the standard, you're looking at your attachments, and there's a task tab that will tell you exactly what is due for each standard and when, depending on how you build your tasks. Great feature. You can set them up to reoccur, you can copy them from assessment to assessment. So although it may take a little bit of time on the front end, it saves you so much time in the long run, and you can run reports on it and everything. So number 4 is PowerDMS assessment tasks. Number 5, the last one, is PowerDMS automated document review. Now, if you have the document module in PowerDMS, there is the option to set an automated review at whatever frequency. You have to set up workflow templates. You got to tell it who the review needs to go to, but at that designated time, it shows up in that person's inbox or that group's inbox, and it's a document to review. It's a policy or it's a proof that needs to be updated, and it works like clockwork. It's going to save you time from having to chase people down. Let the system do the follow-up for you. So in closing, we have number 1, which was Outlook or a calendar program. Number 2 is email. Number 3 is Excel. Number 4 is PowerDMS tasks. And number 5 is PowerDMS automated document review. So find what works best for you, and it's going to vary depending on your agency size, your resources, and your culture. And you may use more than one system, and that's totally fine. The real goal here is it must work for you long term. And when I say long term, not something that has to be constantly babysat. You know, it's a system that's in place and it works. So with that being said, if your system breaks down the moment that you're out sick or you're at conference, maybe it's time to rethink how sustainable it really is. Let's talk about some questions that you can ask yourself about how sustainable your system is. Because after all, having a system is one thing, but knowing it works is another. Let's take a moment to evaluate the method that you're using now to manage your accreditation. First off, are deadlines being missed? Are proofs being submitted late? Or are you frequently doing catch-up work right before your assessment? Those things are red flags. How about over-reliance on memory? Do you find yourself constantly saying things like, I think I already sent that, or I meant to follow up on that? If so, it might be time to systematize things. Next, how about uneven task distribution? Do you have the same staff handling everything? Or are some tasks falling through the cracks? If so, your system might not be clear enough. And lastly, is your system in your head? Does it live in your head? And by the way, mental checklists don't count. If you are the only one who understands the process, it is definitely not sustainable. Okay, moving on. How do you spot gaps before they become problems? Think of patterns and inconsistencies. Do some tasks only get addressed once you manually follow up? How about if you open your spreadsheet or your calendar, your PowerDMS tasks, do you have due dates missing? Are statuses outdated? Pay attention to team feedback. Are people confused about what you're expecting of them? Are you getting the same questions asked over and over? If so, maybe your system isn't intuitive enough. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Are you being consistent with your reminders? Do you give them a buffer? Do you nudge in advance, or are you scrambling to remind them at the last minute? Are those reminders automated, or are you the middle person for every single task? Is your team responding to the current system that you're using, or do they need hand-holding from you? If you were to disappear for a week, would things still get done on time? Seriously, are deadlines slipping through the cracks? And be honest with yourself. When was the last time something important was missed or barely submitted on time? Could you trace it back to a missed reminder, maybe a lack of clarity, or an absence of delegation? So when you're evaluating your system, it isn't about placing blame. It's about identifying where in your structure it could be strengthened. Because the systems today, your systems that work today, won't necessarily work for you tomorrow. As the agency grows and evolves, so should your system. So remember, sustainability equals repeatability. Again, sustainability equals repeatability. If it only works because you are holding it all together, then maybe it's time to rework it. No matter whatever tool you choose, your system should support you, not the other way around. Now, if you want to brainstorm or maybe audit your system, I would absolutely love to help you. Just send me an email, let's chat, and maybe we can find out what works best for you and your team and your agency. And you know me, I always have a freebie download, so check out the show notes. And don't forget, subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode if you enjoyed it and you think somebody else can benefit from it. All right, I hope to see you back next week. Until then, let's keep making accreditation easy, one step at a time.